Okay, my friend, you must remember that in every single moment, you are always being led by a higher power, whether it be your angels, your spirit guides, the universe, God itself, whatever that is for you, you must remember that in every single moment, you are being guided by a higher power. So all of that feeling stuck, confused, all those low vibrational emotions that you do not want to feel can go away, because by the end of this video, you'll be clear on the 6 ways that we block out all of that guidance that is always available to us. So if you are ready for it, give me a big fat thumbs up, because we are about to dive into the video. Okay, so 6 signs that you are blocking guidance from your higher power. Number 1 is obviously not knowing the signs. If you do not know the signs, then obviously you will not recognize them whenever they come in. You might have a feeling about it, but you'll gently dismiss it. So I'm gonna link above and down below a video I created in depth on more of the 8 ways that the universe speaks to you, because since the universe is of such a high frequency, whether, like I said, whether that be your angels, spirit guides, God itself, it's all of a high frequency, so that it has to speak to us in a different language, like a foreign language to us even. Since we are humans and not on that angelic type of resonancy, we have to realize that they cannot just come out and speak to us in the same way that a human would. So go ahead and watch that video after this one, of course, so that you first realize how to unblock any of this guidance, but then also make sure that you're aware of the signs, right? You got to know what the signs are, because like I said, it's a foreign language. Sometimes you hear it through other people, but in most cases, you're not going to be hearing it through other people. You're going to be hearing it through a lot of synchronicity. So that's number 1. Number 2 is attachment. And what do I mean by that? So most people, when they're looking for the signs, because they're becoming obsessed, which obsession has, it serves you in some ways, but obviously there's a negative side to every subject. So you know, it's usually a sign that when you start looking for the signs that you are becoming a little bit obsessive about a certain topic. And when you put something on a pedestal, so to speak, or when you put something that's like such a big deal to you, whether that be a good thing or bad thing, it adds a lot of momentum to it. It adds a lot of energy to it, right? And we also, the universe is flowing with ease and grace, right? So when we're creating a lot of resistance, whether that be something that we are really caught up on, either a good thing or bad thing, just simply attachment, we create a lot of energy, and then we create a lot of resistance around it. And when we are resisted around something that is a big area that we're focusing on in our life, we feel crazy, and we're not also, what's going to be number 3, in the present moment. So number 2 is obviously, number 1 is not knowing the signs. Number 2 is that attachment. When you become attached, you don't learn to detach from the situation, you will not recognize the signs, because you are not number 3, which is in the present. If you are not in the present moment, you're either A, focused on the past, or the future, right? What your future predictions are and anything that you had experienced in your quote unquote past life up until this living, breathing point. So we must realize that all that exists is now. Every single moment, whatever perception you have about on time, we all have to agree that everything that we at least experience is going to be in the now, always, always, always. Therefore, anytime we receive that message from our higher power, whether that be in a dream, whether that be near-death experience, whether that be just in our everyday experience, because I'm sure that's why you're watching this video, because you want to communicate with your higher power more in everyday scenarios consistently, like build that good relationship. So we must realize that all that guidance is going to be in the present moment, right? So if we are not in the present moment, we're not practicing mindfulness, we're not being aware of our breath, we are not just focusing where our feet are planted. I know I'm very guilty of this sometimes. We are not going to receive that guidance. Like I said, it's always being given to us. So that's huge, not being in the present moment. Number 4 is also caused from number 3, not being in the present moment, but this number 4 also blocks out and intensifies the blocking of the guidance from your angels, from your higher powers, all of that. And that is having a low vibration. Anything that's of a low negative vibration, whether that be sadness, guilt, shame, anger, resentment, all those negative emotions, right? Being fearful, those higher powers, hence the word higher powers, are already of such of a high frequency that you have to understand the foreign language that it speaks to you in, the symbolism that it speaks to you in, and you have to be in the present moment to understand it. So when you are not in the present moment, you're focusing on other stressors, right? Because you're not focusing on the now, right then and there, and like the good things that are happening right then and there. So you're not in the present moment. You're feeling those low vibrations. Therefore, you're not in the present moment, so therefore you are obviously blocking the higher powers guidance, but then you're in such a low vibration that you are solemnly focused, because right, there's all these message units all around, and so you might pick up on something but dismiss it. You will solemnly not even see it because you're so tuned in into the reality of the problem that the solution can't even get to you, even though it's like screaming at you. It's always available and it's just right there. But even though it's right there, if you are not in the frequency of something, you are not going to perceive it even. It's not even going to be a thing to you. So when we're in a low vibration, we're not even in the frequency to receive a solution, let alone recognize it, right? It's always available to us, but we have to first be in the frequency to acknowledge it, therefore understand it, right? So number 4, that is huge, is not having a low vibration, right? So number 5 is too much noise. And this also affects not being in the present, and it also can affect your vibration. Too much noise, whether that be external stimuli or internal stimuli. So external stimuli, that's pretty obvious, like lots of crowds, a place where there'd be lots of vibrational input, right? So lots of music, lots of stimulus, whether that be pictures, people, shapes, figures, just lots of different colors, things that would take a lot of observing, a lot of unknowns as well. Keyword unknown, because anything that's unknown is not going to be as easy for you to like pick up and dismiss. Your body wants to analyze it. So anywhere where there's too much noise, externally, those are some examples, and then internally, so it's like, is the noise mentally, emotionally, or physically, right? We have those 3 human bodies. Mentally, are you stressed? Are you okay? Are your chemicals balanced, right? So what's your mental body like? Your emotional body goes back to your stressor as well, but like, what are some of the feelings you're even embodying? Because when you are tuned in, when you're tapped into the frequency, you realize so much synchronicity, you realize so much ease. And why is that? Because you're in that flow for all that higher power to flow through you and for you to receive. I mean, it's always flowing through you, but the matter at which you embrace it and let it do its thing, that matters at, of course, you not blocking it out. So when we have that flow going through us, we must realize that it's usually blocked from like an emotional body, right? There's too much noise going in there emotionally. We're not in that high vibe feeling, right? So that's number 5. But then also to really touch base on that as well, on the last third body, is also physically. So like if you have a lot of physical pain, if you have a lot of health issues going on, that can also distract you, deteriorate you out of the present moment, keep you in a low vibration. So also realize that too much noise is internally on every single level possible. Think very wide with that. And then externally on every single level, right? And then last but not least is not believing you are guided and served and being helped through every single moment. If you don't believe that, again, you can't experience something that you're not in the frequency of. Even though it's there, it exists, it's available to you, you can never receive it because you're totally blocking it out by simply the belief that it's always not available to you. And I get that if you're watching this video right now, you realize that it is, but the reason why I'm touching base on this is because sometimes we don't realize that at a subconscious level, we don't think that it's available to us, with beliefs that we have to earn the right to be guided, or we have to earn the right to be helped, or we have to be doing a certain amount of good, or things like that, or we're not worthy enough, or things have to be harder than this. So it's those beliefs like that will keep us out of subconsciously believing that, and you guys know that roughly 90% of your life is controlled by your subconscious. It'll subconsciously keep us out of receiving those guidance, those symbolisms, those foreign languages, because we so dominantly believe that we need to do something first, or whatever, that we're not good enough or whatever for that guidance in that moment. So you might consciously, obviously if you're watching this video right now, consciously you believe that, but realize on a subconscious level, it's like, do you really believe that? Obviously check yourself. So like I said, I will link above and below the video I mentioned earlier on the 8 ways the universe speaks to you, and on some of those are double whammy, so it's more like 16. 16 ways. I'll link that above and down below. But meanwhile, I will also link another video right here for you guys to click in between either this video or right here. And as always, guys, dream big, live large, and be live. Bye.